Before Odyssey took over the site, it was Bollard Girls' Home. So it was a girls' borstroom. Soon after I started in my role, one of our staff members was taking me on a tour of the building. What we discovered were the cells that young girls had been locked up in. And that was heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking that society would have done that to young girls. Could we do things to actually change it from being punitive to being therapeutic? We undertook a whole process. The architects and builders were really clear. Their recommendation was that we actually demolish and start from scratch. So that then began a process of co-design together with our Waiora and our kamahi to really understand what their needs were, and so spaces for groups, spaces for individual counselling, but also that connection back to the environment and nature, a kind of space with natural light where we could have plants growing.
We kind of wanted to split up the workspace with the living space. There's less of that mixing between home and work.
So it kind of gives that separation between this is where I live, but this is actually where I go to get the healing and to start to learn all the things that I need to know in my journey moving forward.
The challenge became finding the funding for it. So the resource consent for the building was issued in 2019, and in 2022 we were told that we were successful with getting funding for this building through proceeds of crime. Once we'd been told that, we were able to get moving on building this beautiful space that we have here at Waiora. So that became quite a focus from the end of 2022 right through to when we opened the building in May. There was a whole community of people involved with making this project work. Our relationship with Ngāti Whātua probably goes back well over 20 years. They were absolutely guiding us around the appropriate tikanga, the kind of clearing of the building prior to demolition, the blessing of the ground before we turn the sods, etc., to build it. But also were supportive of providing us with some of the plants that we've planted around here and linking us in with artists who were doing carvings, etc. Probably back in about 2018, Ngāti Whātua gifted to us a pepeha, really embodying all of those key pillars or organisational values, grounding us with that. The frosting that we have around the room that we're in at the moment really embodies the elements of the pepeha. And that was an idea that actually came from our people. Everything was connected, so that linking back to Ngāti Whātua as ahika for the whenua, that's really important.
It's nice to be able to provide our whaiora with a space that they can feel proud of. But it also, I guess, represents their worth, that people do value them and that people do want to invest in them.
It's been absolutely transformational because we have an opportunity for people to have private spaces where therapeutic conversations are able to be had without interruption and that are comfortable. We also have, the opportunity for people to connect with their whānau over like AVL links and things like that.
Having this space also does open up a whole new world of possibilities to us in order to actually bring the wider community into the space.
We connect in with a number of other services. Often they're needing a quiet space to meet with people and to talk, and we're now able to give them that. We overlook Oakley Creek, and we have a connection with the Friends of Oakley Creek, so our whāora can get involved and be part of looking after the whenua.
I've always thought of spaces as affecting your mindset or your mentality. Even as we're sitting in here right now, there's a bit of a silence. There's a bit of peace and quiet. That is very calming, I think, for our whāora. We're now thinking of kind of new ideas that we can bring to the work that we're doing. Now we can incorporate more focused art in a therapeutic way and bringing in the more sensory work. What comes with it for our whāora as well as us is just a new perspective of what we want to do going forward and kind of how we'd want to travel together, I think, really.
I want it to be a space that all of our people can use, and that it grows beyond just the people that actually are resident in this program, but actually have that connection and connection back into the community, connection with their whānau. This can make a difference in terms of people being able to connect to what it is that we offer and stay with us longer, and be able to work through some of the things that brought them in to us. Yesterday I happened to be wandering down the road and bumped into a graduate of our program who is coming back and still connecting with people here, and he was just saying how fantastic it was to have this building. So that's the kind of thing that we want to see happen more and more. If one reads some of the testimony from the Royal Commission of Abuse in State Care of women who were girls when they were brought here and the trauma that they went through, and that when they were first admitted in here, they were actually, their first week or so was spent in the cells. And how challenging that would have been for a young girl. Our operations manager for this site was at a training course, and when he was doing the whakawhanaungatanga and introducing himself, and he said he worked at Ballard Ave, one of the other people in the group, a Māori wahine, burst into tears because she'd been here and had been admitted, I think at about age 9. Just hearing those words brought back the trauma that she'd experienced. For her to come back to the opening of the building, that in itself was so incredibly healing for her. Healing some of the trauma that she'd experienced here and providing a level of closure. And if we can do that and if people can hear that, I think that's really key in terms of being part of the healing of a lot of trauma.
From a whole lot of negativity, something beautiful can grow. We have this amazing opportunity to use a revitalising space which has come from the negativity that has happened in the past, and also gives people an opportunity to transition through to see actually from that this new thing can happen.